In their quest to trace the origins of humanity, a team stumbles upon a structure situated on a faraway moon. But they soon realize they are not alone.
I don't know, kind of looks like...
What's that? Okay, just stay calm.
Okay.
Hey, baby.
It's tightening! It's breaking my arm!
If you want to stay in the loop and receive more exciting videos, make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell, and don't forget to like the video. Millions of years in the past, a highly advanced humanoid alien race arrives on a primitive planet, possibly Earth. Within their ranks, one of the aliens ingests a dark substance, leading to the disintegration of its body, which falls into a nearby waterfall. As we witness this event, we observe the breakdown and recombination of its DNA, effectively sowing the seeds of life on the planet. Fast forward to the year 2089, on the Isle of Skye, off the coast of Scotland, where an archaeologist couple named Elizabeth Shaw and Charlie Holloway make an intriguing discovery. They stumble upon a star map in a cave, which they document along with remnants from various unrelated ancient cultures. Interpreting this finding as an invitation from humanity's predecessors, they catch the attention of Peter Weyland, the elderly founder and CEO of the Weyland Corporation. Weyland decides to fund the construction of a deep space research vessel named the USS Prometheus, with the goal of following the map to a distant moon called LV-223, located several light years away from Earth. The crew of the ship enters a state of hibernation, while an android named David remains awake at the controls to oversee their entire journey. Finally, in 2093, the ship reaches the orbit of LV-223. Upon waking from their hibernation, the crew learns about their mission, which is to locate the ancient aliens known as engineers, who are believed to be the creators of the human race. They also watch a holographic message from the late Weyland, who discloses his financial support for the mission and designates Charlie and Elizabeth as the leaders of the expedition. The Prometheus descends through the atmosphere of the planet, experiencing turbulence that subsides as they break through the clouds and gain a clear view of the surface. The ship lands in close proximity to an alien structure resembling a massive temple-like pyramid. A team consisting of Shaw, Holloway, and David ventures into the structure, while Vickers and Captain Yannick remain on board the ship, overseeing their progress. Inside the pyramid, a remarkable discovery awaits the team as they stumble upon a pocket of breathable air. In a damp chamber unlocked by David, they are greeted by a multitude of cylinder-like artifacts, an imposing monolithic statue depicting a humanoid head, and the lifeless remains of a colossal alien believed to be one of the engineers. Further exploration of the structure reveals additional bodies, leading them to speculate that this species has met its demise. The team also uncovers archive footage showing holographic images of engineers in a state of panic during a past emergency. David, acting covertly, retrieves a cylinder and brings it back to the ship. Meanwhile, the remaining cylinders in the chamber begin to leak a dark fluid, triggered by the change in temperature or atmosphere upon opening the chamber. As an impending storm approaches, the crew is compelled to return to the Prometheus, inadvertently leaving Milburn and Fifield stranded within the pyramid structure after losing their way. Shaw insists on taking the engineer's head back to the ship, and they barely manage to escape with their lives, with David rescuing them when they are nearly blown off the loading platform. Back on the ship, Shaw and Medic Ford analyze the engineer's head, with David's assistance in removing its weighty helmet. To their astonishment, they discover that its DNA is an exact match to that of the human race. Utilizing an electrified needle, they briefly revive the head, but its exposure to the breathable atmosphere causes rapid decomposition and disintegration. Later, David investigates the cylinder further and uncovers multiple ampoules containing a viscous black fluid. With deliberate intent, David infects Holloway using the mysterious substance obtained from the ampoule. Later, Shaw engages in a sexual encounter with the infected Holloway. Subsequently, Holloway notices a disturbing change in his reflection as his eyes become watery, and a small silver worm-like organism emerges from one of his corneas. Inside the structure, Fifield and Milburn bear witness to the emergence of a peculiar snake-like creature from a pool of the dark fluid seeping from the cylinders. As Milburn attempts to examine the creature, it swiftly grasps his hand, tightly coiling around his arm and fracturing it within seconds. When Fifield endeavors to sever the connection, the creature's corrosive yellow acidic blood melts Fifield's helmet, exposing him to the ominous liquid. The creature infiltrates his suit, forcibly entering his throat. Following the subsiding of the storm, the crew of Prometheus returns to the structure the next morning, only to discover Milburn's lifeless body. Within the confines of a room, David comes across a living engineer preserved in stasis in a holographic star map highlighting various distant planetary systems. He observes as the holograms of the engineers activate a navigational system, with Earth appearing as one of the planets. Abruptly, the system shuts down, leaving the holographic representation of Earth lingering. David also locates a solitary engineer within a nearby stasis pod, its heartbeat audible to him. Holloway's infection rapidly consumes his body, prompting his urgent evacuation back to the ship. As his condition deteriorates visibly, Vickers adamantly denies him entry, citing quarantine protocols. When Holloway approaches Vickers, imploring her to end his suffering, she ruthlessly incinerates him with a flamethrower. Shaw, devastated by this act, is left reeling. A medical examination uncovers the astonishing revelation that Shaw, despite her infertility, is carrying a pregnancy. David incapacitates her with the intention of returning her to Earth in a state of stasis. He confiscates the cross given to her by her father, citing potential contamination. However, Shaw manages to escape and seeks refuge in Vickers' quarters, where she utilizes an automated medical surgery pod. In a harrowing procedure, she extracts a nightmarish cephalopod-like creature from her abdomen while fully conscious. Meanwhile, the presence of Wayland in stasis on the ship is discovered, and it is revealed that Vickers is his daughter. Wayland discloses his intention to beseech the engineers for assistance in evading his imminent demise. A mutated Fifield, altered by the effects of the black fluid, is found just outside the hangar bay. He launches a vicious attack, killing several crew members before meeting his own demise. Yannick postulates that the moon they are on served as a military outpost for the engineers until they lost control of their bioweapons, specifically the cylinders containing the black fluid. The remaining crew returns to the structure and revives the engineer, who is occupying a spacecraft identical in design to the derelict alien ship witnessed in the original Alien film. David converses with the engineer in an alien language, questioning the purpose behind humanity's creation and pleading for an extension of his own creator's life, Mr. Wayland. In response, the engineer violently tears David's head from his body, resulting in the deaths of Wayland and Ford. Shaw manages to escape the activated alien vessel as the engineer sets it in motion. The still-functioning David warns that the engineer intends to unleash the ampoules of black fluid on Earth, which would result in the annihilation of all living creatures on the planet. Vickers commands Yannick to return to Earth, but Shaw convinces him to intercept the engineer's ship. Yannick and his two surviving crew members sacrifice themselves by crashing the Prometheus into the engineer's vessel, while Vickers escapes in an escape pod. The disabled engineer's ship crashes onto the planet, inadvertently crushing Vickers, while Shaw narrowly evades a similar fate. While seeking supplies in the escape pod, Shaw makes a startling discovery. Her previously aborted, yet still living, alien offspring has grown to immense proportions. To her horror, the engineer, having survived the crash, launches an attack on Shaw. In a desperate act of defense, she releases the tentacled creature, which swiftly subdues the engineer by inserting an ovipositor into its throat. Initially believing herself stranded on the planet, Shaw receives a communication from David, who informs her that there are additional engineer ships located elsewhere on the planet. Determined to seek answers regarding humanity's origins and the engineer's intentions, Shaw retrieves David's remains from the alien vessel, reclaiming the cross he had taken from her. Shaw, accompanied by the remnants of android David, sets course for the engineer's homeworld known as Paradise. In the final scene within Vickers' escape pod, a chilling revelation unfolds as an alien creature, bearing a striking resemblance to the xenomorph seen in the other Alien movies, violently bursts out from the dying engineer's chest. From her, Shaw, accompanied by the remnants of android David, sets course for the engineer's homeworld known as Paradise. In the final scene within Vickers' escape pod, a chilling revelation unfolds as an alien creature, bearing a striking resemblance to the xenomorph seen in the other Alien movies, violently bursts out from the dying engineer's chest.